Good morning, everyone. This is Sachin Fiske from Electrical Engineering Department, SMD College of Engineering and Research Center. Today, we are going to start strain gauges or the types of the various gauges or types of. When a wire or strip of semiconductor is stretched, its resistance value changes. The fractional change in the resistance is proportional to the fractional change in the length, that is strain. So delta R upon R is equals to G means gain into strain, where change in the value of resistance, that is dr or delta R, is the change in the resistance for wire or resistance R, and G is the constant called the gauge factor. For metals, the gauge factor is about 2, for semiconductor about 100. Metal resistance strain gauge are in the form of a flat coil so that they get a reasonable length of a metal in a small area. Often they are each from metal foil and attached to a backing of this plastic film. So they can be stuck off surfaces like postage stamp on an envelope. The change in the resistance of the strain gauge when subject to strain is usually converted into a voltage signal by the use of the strain gauge. A problem that occurs is that the resistance of the strain gauge also changes with temperature, and thus some means of temperature compensation has to be used so that the output of the bridge is only a function of the strain. This can be achieved by placing a dummy strain gauge in the opposition arm of the wheel, that gauge not being subject to any strain but only the temperature. A popular alternative is used for active gauge as a arm of the bridge and arrange them so that one pair of the opposite gauge is in tension and other pair in compression. This not only gives temperature compensation, it also gives a much larger output change when the strain is applied. The following paragraph illustrates the system employing such a form of compression. By attaching the strain gauge to other device, change that result in strain of those devices can be transformed by the strain gauge to give voltage change. They might, for example, be attached to a cantilever to which the forces are applied at its free end. A strain gauge is a resistor used to measure the strain of an object and when an external force is applied on the object, due to which there is a deformation occurs in the shape of the object. This deformation in the shape is both compressive or tensile is called strain and it is measured by the strain gauge. When an object deforms within the limit of elasticity, either it becomes narrower and longer or it becomes shorter or broader. As a result of it, there is a change in the resistive end to end. The strain gauge is sensitive to that small changes occur in the geometry of the object. By measuring the change in the resistance of an object, the amount of induced stress can be calculated. The change in the resistance normally has a very small value, and to sense that small change, strain gauge has a long thin metal strip arranged in a zigzag pattern on a non-conducting material called as a carrier, and so that it can enlarge the small amount of stress in the group of parallel lines and could be measured within a high accuracy. The gauge is literally glued onto the device by an adhesive. When an object shows physical deformation, its electrical resistance gets changed that changes is then measured by the gauge. Strain gauge bridge circuit. Basically, the strain gauge bridge circuit is shown by a measured stress by the degree of the discrepancy and uses a voltmeter in the center of the bridge to provide an accurate measurement in that imbalance. This arrangement is considered as a quarter bridge. There are two more arrangements of half bridge and full bridge configuration which gives greater sensitivity over the quarter bridge circuit. Still, the quarter bridge circuit is widely used in a strain measurement system. There are some uses of this strain gauge. The first one is in the field of mechanical engineering development to measure the stress generated by the machinery, and last one is in the field of component testing of the aircraft line, the field of component testing of the linkages and structural damages. It's all about a simple testing of the strain gauge. Thank you.